What if the very supplements you thought were aiding your sleep, like magnesium or melatonin, aren't working the way you believe? What if the simple habit of going to bed at inconsistent times could increase your risk of heart disease by over half? In a conversation with Dr. Matthew Walker, a leading neuroscientist specializing in sleep, we unravel the misunderstood science of sleep, revealing breakthroughs that challenge common myths and offer tangible tools to transform your nights and your life. Ready to rethink everything you know about sleep? Magnesium has long been touted as a natural sleep aid, yet Dr. Walker reveals a crucial caveat. Most forms of magnesium simply do not cross the blood-brain barrier. Sleep, fundamentally governed by brain activity, cannot be influenced by substances that never reach it. Supplementing with generic magnesium may therefore be little more than an expensive way to produce excess urine rather than improve sleep quality. However, the one notable exception is magnesium L-threonate, a specific form that does cross into the brain. Even then, supplementation only meaningfully helps those who are magnesium deficient. For individuals with normal magnesium levels, additional intake won't boost sleep. Could it be that our reliance on supplements overlooks the biological realities of brain chemistry? Conventional wisdom has told us that sleep loss accumulates like a debt you can never repay. But recent large-scale studies suggest a more nuanced reality. Research from the UK Biobank involving over 90,000 participants shows that those who catch up on sleep during weekends reduce their cardiovascular disease risk by 20% compared to those who remain chronically sleep-deprived. This indicates that, at least for heart health, the body can recover somewhat from weekday deficits if you bank sleep beforehand or catch up afterward. Interestingly, a study from the Walter Reed Medical Army Institute flips this concept. By extending sleep before known periods of deprivation, like shift work or medical on-call duties, individuals buffered themselves against cognitive decline and mental impairment. Isn't it reassuring to know that strategic sleep saving can protect your brain and heart? But how long can this safety net last? And are there limits to the catch-up sleep strategy? Sleep quantity has long been the star of the show in sleep science. 7 to 9 hours is the generally accepted range, but Dr. Walker emphasizes an often overlooked but crucial factor: regularity. Going to bed and waking up at the same time daily, with only a 15 to 30-minute wiggle room, dramatically influences life expectancy and disease risk. Data analyzed from 60,000 people showed those with the most consistent sleep schedules had a 49% lower risk of premature death and a 57% lowered risk for cardiometabolic disease compared to irregular sleepers. Surprisingly, regularity outperformed even total sleep duration in predicting longevity. Could the erratic routines common in modern life be silently cutting years off our lives? Why does our body's internal clock depend so heavily on predictable schedules? Popular culture often casts melatonin as a miracle sleep pill, but Dr. Walker clarifies its actual role. Melatonin acts as a signal indicating nighttime rather than directly inducing sleep. Meta-analyses show that melatonin supplements hasten sleep onset by only about 3 minutes, with minor effects on overall sleep quality, barely more than a placebo. The risk lies in indiscriminate high-dose usage, especially among children. Excess melatonin at unnatural doses can cause morning grogginess by confusing the brain's circadian signals. For jet lag or specific circadian rhythm disorders, low-dose, carefully timed melatonin may help reset the internal clock. So, is melatonin truly the nightly remedy it's made out to be, or are we oversimplifying a complex neurohormonal symphony? It's not just what's in your body, but what's around you. Engaging with digital devices an hour before bed is a well-known sleep disruptor, but not for the reasons many assume. The culprit isn't blue light alone, which has been largely debunked as the primary problem. Instead, it's the highly activating nature of social media, emails, and texts that hijack your attention and mute natural sleepiness. Moreover, artificial light, which humanity inadvertently invites into our bedrooms, sends false cues to the brain that it's still daytime, delaying sleep onset and fragmenting sleep architecture. Dr. Walker recommends dimming lights to below 30 lux, think of the warm glow of candles, for at least 60 to 90 minutes before bedtime to support natural circadian rhythms. Melatonin's popularity has surged in pediatric populations, often packaged in tempting gummies. Yet this trend comes with serious warnings. Over the past decade in the US, pediatric melatonin poisonings have skyrocketed by over 500%, leading to increasing hospital admissions. On a biological level, melatonin influences reproductive development. Rodent studies from the 70s showed high doses stunt testicular growth. Could routine supplementation in children pose unseen developmental risks? Dr. Walker urges caution. Melatonin is a bioactive hormone, and more is definitely not better. Moving beyond simplistic advice, Dr. Walker outlines a comprehensive framework he terms the 4 macros of sleep: quantity, quality, regularity, and timing. Quantity speaks to the total hours, while quality measures how continuous and restorative the sleep is, reflected by sleep efficiency and deep, slow-wave activity. Regularity anchors the circadian clock through consistent sleep-wake cycles, while timing syncs sleep phases to natural environmental cues, mainly light exposure. Neglecting any leg of this chair leads to instability and poor sleep. Don't we owe it to ourselves to appreciate sleep's complexity and treat it like the vital physiological process it is, rather than a simple commodity? Sleep is not monolithic. It flows through stages in roughly 90-minute cycles: light non-REM, deep non-REM, slow-wave sleep, and REM sleep. Early cycles are dominated by deep non-REM sleep, facilitating memory consolidation and physical restoration, while REM sleep increases dramatically in the latter half of the night. Awakening early truncates REM-rich sleep, which is critical for emotional processing, creativity, and mental health. This helps explain why cutting just a couple of hours can feel so devastatingly disruptive. Dr. Walker casts REM sleep as a natural overnight therapist, providing emotional first aid by reprocessing painful experiences in a uniquely safe neurochemical environment where noradrenaline is suppressed. This allows the brain's emotional centers to revisit and soften traumatic memories, a process that appears dysfunctional in PTSD. Beyond healing, REM sleep complements non-REM by creatively fusing new experiences with older memories, acting as nocturnal problem-solving and innovation. This may be why sleeping on a problem is a universal, cross-cultural wisdom. If dreams are an essential brain function rather than random noise, shouldn't we treat dream sleep with the reverence it deserves? Not everyone requires the same amount of sleep. Genetic mutations in genes like Det2 and ADRB1 allow some rare short sleepers to thrive on just over 6 hours without cognitive or health impairment. These individuals are paragons of efficient sleep with enhanced wakefulness drive and resistance to jet lag. While this discovery offers tantalizing insight into human sleep variability and raises hopes for targeted therapies, Dr. Walker warns of a dystopian risk. If society tries to genetically engineer shorter sleep needs, what prevents the minimum from becoming a new standard, leaving most people chronically sleep-deprived? Isn't this a cautionary tale about respecting biological individuality rather than forcing uniformity? Traditional sleep aids like benzodiazepines and Z-drugs, Ambien, Lunesta, sedate the cortex by enhancing GABA neurotransmission, creating an artificial sleep that lacks natural restorative qualities and impairs the brain's cleansing lymphatic system. Exciting new drugs called orexin antagonists target the brain's wakefulness circuits more selectively by dialing down the orexin neurotransmitter. Clinical studies show these drugs improve sleep continuity and increase the brain's ability to clear Alzheimer's-related toxins. Dr. Matthew Walker's insights force us to grapple with some fundamental questions. How could such an essential biological process be so misunderstood and undervalued? Why do we jeopardize our health and longevity with inconsistent routines and quick-fix supplements? As we learned, sleep is not merely passive downtime, but an active, dynamic state critical to everything from DNA repair to emotional resilience. Could mastering our sleep habits be the most profound self-care act we undertake? By honoring consistency, embracing natural rhythms, and respecting sleep's intricacies, are we not investing in a fuller, richer life, one where longevity, mental acuity, and emotional well-being thrive? So tonight, as you prepare for bed, ask yourself, am I treating this most vital of human necessities with the reverence it commands? Sleep well, because your life depends on it.